Okay, with The Conjuring Last Rites coming out later this year, I am doing a full watch through, first time, of all the Conjuring Universe movies. I am so in. It's insane. The Conjuring from 2013 is one of my favorite movies that I've watched this year. I feel like I could go on and on about the way that it's shot, the way that it's acted, all of these like little pieces. Something that I loved so deeply about this movie is that it knows how to set this terrifying atmosphere, but it kind of knows when to like pull punches and not go too far into things. Until it's the right time, then it goes through the roof, okay? They know when to rein it in and they know when to build it up, and that makes it really enjoyable to watch. So the Conjuring movies are based on the real-life demonologist couple, Ed and Lorraine Warren, who investigated thousands of paranormal cases over their decades of work. The first Conjuring movie is about the Perron family and their spooky farmhouse. So the family starts having weird experiences, including finding a gross, old, bad vibes cellar that they didn't know existed, and then one of the daughters starts sleepwalking and is drawn to a wardrobe in one of the rooms, along with one of the daughters having a spooky imaginary friend that may or may not be tied to a music box. It's all very upsetting. At first, the family kind of tries to deal with it on their own, but when shit really gets spooky, they call in Ed and Lorraine. Played by Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson, something about the chemistry between these two really knocks it out of the park for me. Is this a unique experience? Do people love these two as much as I do? Or am I a weirdo? Is there Ed and Lorraine fanfic asking for a friend? Anyway, they come to investigate and put an end to the terror the family is facing. There are some brilliant moments in this movie, and I'm so excited to go through the full catalog and get all caught up before the last one comes out. As I make my way through the Conjuring universe, I'm going in order of release, not the chronological order of events. Anyways, I watched Annabelle, and I loved it. Something that I hope to continue to see through these movies is the tension that they build by pulling back a little bit. They know where less is more, and I love that. There are so many moments throughout Annabelle where they'll hold on a particular spot for an extended period of time, and you expect to get jump scared, but then you don't. It like moves on to the next scene. So then when they do jump scare you, they really, really get you. In case you're unfamiliar, Annabelle is a haunted doll who is inspired by a real haunted doll who spends her days locked in a box in the Warrens Occult Museum. The movie version is a little bit of a backstory to Annabelle. Set in the 1960s, we meet John and Mia, a couple who are expecting their first child. Mia is a doll collector, and John gets her a doll that she has been on the hunt for years. Enter Annabelle. I'm sorry, she's horrifying even before she had a demon in her. Anyways, after the couple's house is broken into, seemingly by demonic cult members, things start to get really freaky and they have to figure out how to deal with Annabelle. Overall, I really liked this movie. I'm excited to see the other Annabelle movies and get some more backstory into what the hell is wrong with this doll. Even if you haven't watched all the films in this franchise, I feel like anyone can jump in and enjoy Final Destination Bloodlines. This one is a clear standout from the rest of the bunch, in my opinion. Don't come for me. You know that there's one in this lineup that specifically sucks. Anyways, Final Destination Bloodlines follows a family fighting for their lives after decades of their grandmother protecting them from death, who has been breathing down their necks. When Grandma Iris was young, she had a premonition that there was going to be a massive tragedy in a Space Needle-esque restaurant opening. She, of course, saves the day and survives, but this survival threw off Death's design, meaning that her whole family line never should have existed. Same with everybody else there and all of their family. So over the years, all of these people have been basically hunted down by Death to set things right. Her granddaughter, Stephanie, is racing against the clock to beat the system once and for all. This movie is over the top, it's ridiculous, and many of the characters are very lovable. Like I said, if you know this franchise, you will appreciate the callbacks, but if you're new to the Final Destination lore, you will still have a good time, as long as over-the-top, cursed Rube Goldberg death traps are your vibe. As someone who really only started watching horror movies at the beginning of 2024, I'm getting to experience a lot of people's favorites for the first time, and it's been really fun, and heartbreaking, and devastating, and terrifying. Anyways, I watched Get Out from 2017 for the first time this week, and I am 3 for 3 on Jordan Peele movies. I am all in. I am obsessed with the way this man tells a story. Get Out is a psychological horror that is so upsetting, but a really good, fascinating watch. We follow Chris as he joins his girlfriend Rose for a weekend at her parents' house. And at first, Chris accepts their very bizarre behavior as being like overly kind and too welcoming about their interracial relationship. This is not spoiling anything, but along the way he discovers that, as always, racist assholes are more horrifying than any imaginary monster will ever be. If you haven't watched this one yet, It will break your brain. I am now down the rabbit hole reading fan theories and lists of hidden Easter eggs. This movie is a standout among the movies I've watched this year, and I can't wait to see more from Jordan Peele. The mid-2000s have done it again. Something about horror movies from this time works really well for me, even with all of the campy, cheesy elements. Maybe because of the campy, cheesy elements. Splinter is a fun little single-location creature feature that I loved. This is not a 5-star movie by any means, but it is a scrappy little indie film that pulled out all the stops. This movie follows Polly and Seth, a couple attempting a camping trip when they are carjacked by another couple who are attempting to flee the country. Dennis and Lacey are both a little cuckoo and force Seth and Polly to give them a ride out of town. When they stop at a gas station, they discover that the attendant has become a disgusting, splintery monster. Trapped in the gas station, they are pushed together on the world's worst double date and pushed to their limits as they try to survive and figure out what the hell this thing is. There are some parts that are very corny, but there are also many, many more parts that are perfectly done that gross you out and keep you entertained the whole way through. Tell me your favorite mid-2000s. We're talking 2005 to like 2012-ish. There's something about that time frame with horror movies that just, hits. My favorite couple is back for another silly little adventure. The Conjuring 2 was really good. I don't know how any of the sequels could ever hit the top tier level set by the original Conjuring, but I did really like this one. Ed and Lorraine Warren are back to get rid of another awful demon. This time they are going across the pond to England to help the Hodgson family. Picture it, London, 1974. The Hodgson family is being tormented by their teenage daughter, but not in the normal teenage daughter metaphorical demon way. This time it's a literal demon. Well, we're led to believe it is the spirit of a grumpy old man who lived and died in their home. But is it? Ed and Lorraine are there to put in work to figure out if this is all a hoax, and as the audience, we are getting breadcrumbs that there is something more sinister at play. The Conjuring 2 is a bit more over the top than the first one. There was a lot more subtlety throughout most of the first one that helped it feel a little bit more grounded, well, as grounded as a movie about demonic possession can feel. To be fair, I would watch Ed and Lorraine investigate a haunted outhouse and still be kicking my feet and giggling. I feel like this is a really solid sequel, and I'm excited to watch the third one. And the fourth one that comes out later this year. I'm all in with this series, I'm telling you. All in. I honestly don't know how you could make a sequel that would hold up to the standard set by 28 Days Later, but 28 Weeks Later was pretty good. Obviously, the biggest thing it's missing is our boy, Cillian Murphy. I watched 28 Days Later for the first time earlier this year, had to watch 28 Weeks Later so that I could get ready for 28 Years Later. I do think it's very cool, and even though I did miss my boy Cillian, I do think it's really cool to see the different places and how they deal with this, and we kind of see different points in time and all the things kind of like come together. Very cool and very interesting for the sequels to not just take place exactly after we have different places with totally different people dealing with the rage virus outbreak. 28 Weeks Later follows a brother and sister, Tammy and Andy, a couple of little shits, okay, who sneak into a previously blocked off area in London where there are still dead bodies and wreckage from the zombie takeover. They practically trip over the corpses. Anyways, they decide to bust in past the military people who are guarding the area to go search for a picture of their late mother, leading to a whole bunch of shit that could have been easily avoided if these kids could have just followed the damn rules. They end up setting off a chain reaction that throws London back into chaos and even more horror, and I feel like 28 Weeks Later leans more into the horror elements than 28 Days Later. 28 Days Later felt more like sci-fi thriller to me. This one pushes the horror up a notch, which I actually did really appreciate. I will say it, everyone says it, and I agree. The first 10 minutes of this film are off the walls, and then it feels like we kind of never get back to that level, but I still definitely liked it. It was a solid sequel to the first, which was like a genre-changing movie. Like I said, hard to follow that up, but I still enjoyed it. There was far more nudity and crying than I expected when I walked into the theater to see 28 Years Later. The nudity was on the screen. The crying in the audience. Anyways, 28 Years Later, let's talk about it. People are very divided on this one, but after sitting with it for a couple of weeks, I am in the camp of, hell yeah, brother, gimme 2 more. Did you know that there are 2 more sequels apparently in the works? Go team! 28 Years Later is obviously the 3rd film in the 28 Days Later franchise, taking place, of course, 28 years after the rage virus outbreak that turns people into terrifying, rage-filled beasts. We learn that the virus has a steroidal effect on some people and a Viagra effect on other people, apparently. If you know, you know. If you don't know, just don't be shocked when you see it. We follow the sweetest baby angel, Spike, who I absolutely rooted for the entire time, as he goes on this journey to the mainland of Scotland from his small island village that has managed to survive the virus outbreak by quarantining for years. This movie is stressful, so emotional, and very intense, and it hits so many great moments for me. There are a handful of things that I definitely could have done without, personally, Maybe I will make a video that we can talk full spoilers and we can really get into it, but I will say, overall, I think this is a great addition to the storyline. The acting was incredible. It absolutely got me looking forward to seeing more of Spike and his hot dad, played by Aaron Taylor Johnson, who gives a great performance, as always. I really enjoyed this movie. What did you think? Are you excited to see more? Did you like the Ninja Teletubby Squad? Tell me what you think.